Heaven is in My Heart, Part 3, a story from Genesis to Revelation, Chapter 14, Exiles and Destruction of the Temple. God sent several prophets to warn Israel and Judah to be faithful to Him. But they were immersed in the custom of worshipping the God of Israel and the other gods of Samaria at the same time. So God delivered the Israelites into the hands of the Assyrians. The Assyrians conquered the Israelites, and most of them were deported to Assyria. Those who remained in Israel were forced to intermarry with people who were brought there from 5 different alien nations. There were very few people left in Israel who were still faithful to God. As for the people of Judah, Isaiah and Jeremiah prophesied to them to remain faithful to God. Isaiah and Jeremiah received many oracles and visions from God to admonish the people of Judah. But the people's hearts were hardened, and they refused to return to God. When Isaiah prophesied to King Hezekiah, he had a change of heart and fasted and prayed and tore down the altars to the false gods. So when the Assyrians attacked them, God protected them and sent His angel to strike down the army of the Assyrians overnight. After Hezekiah's death, his son Manasseh became the king of Judah, and he led the people of Judah to practice evil ways and to disobey God like they had never done before. Manasseh's successors continued to do the same, with the exception of Josiah, who was very faithful and ordered the people to return to God and re-established the feasts and temple sacrifices. Most of the kings of Judah were evil, and eventually, during the reign of Jehoiachin, God delivered them into the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar took all the treasures that Solomon had accumulated in the temple and deported Jehoiachin to Babylon and made Jehoiachin's uncle Zedekiah the king of Judah. Jeremiah took the Ark of the Covenant and hid it in the caves on Mount Nebo. Nebuchadnezzar deported all the talented workers and only left behind in Jerusalem those of lowliest trade among the people. When Zedekiah rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar, he attacked Jerusalem again, and this time completely destroyed Jerusalem and the temple by fire. Zedekiah's sons were killed in front of him, his eyes were put out, and he was also taken as a captive to Babylon. Along with him, even the lowliest of people were deported to Babylon, and only a few lowly vine dressers and farmers were left behind.